Breaking tonight. President Trump just a short time ago calling the New York Times gutless after a late afternoon anonymous op-ed from someone the paper labels a senior Trump administration official. In that op-ed, the official writes that many inside the White House and the administration are working to thwart the president at every turn. All this writer says to save the country. He or she, the Times uses the pronoun he, writes that the successes of the administration have come despite, not because, of the president's leadership style described as impetuous, adversarial, petty, and ineffective. Within the past few minutes, the White House press secretary pushed back hard. Chief White House correspondent John Roberts has details from the North Lawn. Good evening, John.
Both the press secretary and the president pushing back hard late this afternoon. Brett, on this anonymously authored op-ed in the New York Times, in a lengthy statement. We'll only read part of it. Sarah Huckabee Sanders saying, quote, "We are disappointed but not surprised that the paper chose to publish this pathetic, reckless, and selfish op-ed. This coward should do the right thing and resign." At a law enforcement officer event, sheriff's event in the past hour, the president running down a long list of what he says are accomplishments that his administration has achieved over the past 16 or 18 months, and also saying that the New York Times publishing an anonymous op-ed was an absolutely gutless move.
Nobody has ever done in less than a 2-year period what we've done. So when you tell me about some anonymous source within the administration, probably who's failing and probably here for all the wrong reasons.
The unidentified official says he is part of the resistance in the White House that believes the president continues to act in a manner that is detrimental to the health of our republic. The author says he and other like-minded administration officials are working to insulate the government from what he calls the president's misguided impulses. Meetings with him veer off topic and off the rails. He engages in repetitive rants, and his impulsiveness results in half-baked, ill-informed, and occasionally reckless decisions that have to be walked back. The official says the resistance wants the Trump White House to succeed, but adds successes have come despite, not because of the president's leadership style, which is impetuous, adversarial, petty, and ineffective. The op-ed was another rip at the president, who had just been torn up one side and down the other in Bob Woodward's new book. In the Oval Office with the Emir of Kuwait today, President Trump fired back.
The book is a work of fiction. If you look back at Woodward's past, he had the same problem with other presidents. He likes to get publicity, sell some books.
The book, Fear, Trump in the White House, paints a portrait of a chaotic West Wing where senior aides spoke of the president in denigrating terms. Since then, two of his top lieutenants, Defense Secretary James Mattis and Chief of Staff John Kelly, came forward to declare what they are alleged to have said is simply not true.
Already, General Mattis has come out very, very strongly. He was insulted by the remarks that were attributed to him, and he came out with a very strong statement. General John Kelly, the same exact thing. He thought he was insulted by what they said.
The president today said the timing of the book's release was meant to disrupt the Kavanaugh hearings, and he said the allegation that he wanted to assassinate Syrian leader Bashar al-Assad is a fabrication.
Never even discussed. The book is total fiction. Just like he wrote in the past about other presidents, you look at what he said about President Bush, what he said about President Obama, big scandalous thing, big. It lasts for about a day.
As the fear storm continued to swirl, President Trump's attorneys came a step closer to allowing Robert Mueller to question the president. Sources tell Fox News in response to an August 6th letter from Rudy Giuliani and Jay Sekulow, Mueller offered to limit his questions to Russia and whether there was collusion by the Trump campaign, and said he would accept written answers to the questions.
I'm not concerned about the President of the United States responding if we decide to accept the proposition of responding to written questions.
Sources say Mueller has, for the moment, shelved his request to ask questions that go to the issue of obstruction of justice, but he hasn't fully taken that idea off the table. He is also requesting the option of an in-person follow-up interview on collusion, depending on what is in the president's written answers.
The president's attorneys responded to Mueller's response earlier today. They say that they might accept the idea of written answers on the subject of Russia and whether there was collusion, but that any follow-up interview would also have to involve written answers. They also said they will not accept any questions that go to Article 2 powers that the president has under the Constitution, which includes the firing of James Comey. Brett?
John Roberts, live in the North Lawn. John, thanks.